Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what could be the last meal that we're able to serve to your mind. Welcome to the Cross Family Diner. My name is Omen Cross, and this is not going to be everybody's favorite episode of Crossin' and Waffles. I'm going to be honest with you. And the reason it's not going to be everybody's favorite isn't because I'm not going to be into it or passionate about it. Actually, it's probably going to be for the opposite reason. Because I'm too passionate about it. Because I care more than most people think I should. So, before we get started, as always, I'd like to introduce my co-host, your friend and mine, Emma Cross, everybody.
Hello, everyone!
And she sounds happy now, but it ain't going to stay that way.
Yeah, it won't last. I'm particularly not ready to do this episode simply because it goes way too deeper than I, myself, and my own mind could never even dream was possible. So we're going to discuss a few things.
Yeah. Let's talk first about the episode itself. You can read the title. It's called Innocence Stolen. Why is it called Innocence Stolen? Because we're talking about probably one of the worst things, not only that's going on in our world now, but that has been going on in our world for a very long time, longer than any single person can even figure out on their own. Because we know that it could be at least for decades that this is going on, that we can kind of sort of prove. But we can't prove that it may have been going on for hundreds, if not thousands of years underneath different guises in different places. So, innocence stolen. Whose innocence? We're talking about kids. We're talking about your kids, your friends' kids, your family's kids.
Kids that don't even exist yet.
We're talking about kids that have existed in the past that nobody knows anymore. Lives that were destroyed and turned into something that can't even be considered living anymore. So, we're going to go through a series of bullet points about this particular topic and some of, not all of, but a good little bit of some information surrounding these kinds of behaviors so that those who aren't as adept at knowing how some sick person like this thinks, that you can kind of just for a second get into their head and try to see things through their eyes for just a second so that you know how to fight them. Because if you know how somebody thinks, you know how to counter them. So, we're going to start today by explaining a little bit more of what we're talking about. This is something that's been going around in evidence and rumor and all this for decades. Rumors of people running out into the woods and doing sick rituals behind everybody's back. Rumors of involvement from generally every level across the world. Pedophile rings that are kidnapping children and selling them into sex slavery while at the same time also selling them to rich families to be abused, tortured, and murdered. We're talking about the kind of billion-dollar business that should make all the normal people out there want to throw up. So let's start by saying that we are not here because I don't personally have enough proof to say a name and say, I know this person's involved. There are a couple names that keep coming up throughout all this information that you can kind of assume are involved. But to say that every single person that knows that person or that's associated with that person knows everything they know is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I still hold them to the same standard they hold us. Guilty until proven innocent.
Hey, I'm not going to argue that point. So, first, we're going to go through some things that were originally discovered by WikiLeaks and that have been analyzed by
Reddit,
all kinds of people on Reddit and all kinds of people
4chan,
that work for these agencies and that associate with these people and are trying to get the truth out there. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about these sickos is that, of course, they can't talk about the things they're actually going to do with each other, because if they did that and even the minute data tracking programs that are in our emails, they would get caught. And so they have a list of codes that probably change every so often.
But before we read those codes, I want to read you guys a couple of emails without context. And so you can understand how weird this actually sounds until you have the code.
Okay, so just give them an email. One of them sound weird.
Okay, so we're going to read, let's see. Hi, John. The realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza related. Is it yours? They can send it to you if you want. I know you're busy, so feel free not to respond if it's not yours or don't want it.
Okay, weird sounding email, right? Doesn't seem to make any sense. What realtor would find a random handkerchief with pizza related drawings on it and go, wow, this must be important. Important enough to email people. Important enough to make a big deal about it.
Now this
doesn't sound right.
And this is just one excerpt that
there's a list of them. We're going to go through the codes that they've been using that we know for sure. And then after that, we're going to go through some of these emails and kind of discuss them. Do a little inference game and see if we as a group can then and what it is they're actually talking about. So let's start with some of these code words. And these aren't all of them. Like I said, I'm sure they change them every so often so that it's easier to not get caught. But the code words that have been discovered up to this point, here, I'll read you some of them. The word hot dog in these emails is a reference word for boy. The word pizza is a reference word for girl. The word pasta is a reference word for a little boy, meaning a small child. And the word cheese is a reference word for a little girl. The word ice cream is a reference word for male prostitute. The word walnut,
person of color,
means person of color. The word map means semen. And the word sauce means orgy. So with just these little code reference words, which you can look up yourself as we did on WikiLeaks and on sites that have compiled some of this data from WikiLeaks.
WikiLeaks doesn't actually have the decoded words. It does have all of the emails. All you gotta do is go to WikiLeaks, type in whatever code word you're looking for, and it'll bring up a list of all of the emails that this code word is used in.
Okay, so for the rest of this, we're going to read some of these emails. Now, I'm going to tell you first about some of these emails. They were, I believe, part of what was tried to be deleted that some people still found anyway. And these emails were attributed to the family and the person of John Podesta, who, for those of you who don't know, is basically Hillary Clinton's second, has worked with her on generally everything that she does, and has been part of almost every dealing she's had for years now. So as these emails are either coming from this person or from close personal associates of this person, because that's where WikiLeaks found these emails.
I believe where did they get these? Oh, jeez. I can't remember exactly.
So we're going to read you some of these emails, and then we're going to play some inference. I'm going to let you go ahead and read the email to me and the audience, and then we'll sit and play the inference game with our reference words.
Okay, this is Tony Podesta saying this. This is from Tony Podesta. I don't remember who to, but if you will be around for dinner or pizza on Sunday, would love to see you and Adis and California.
And talk about Adis in California. Basically, whoever this person is that this email is being sent to.
You can double check on WikiLeaks and actually see who these are from anyway. We'll try and have some links for you guys at the bottom.
Yeah, we're going to try to do that. More things for people to research. I don't want you to take me as the final point of information, because I don't know even probably a millionth of what's actually going on out there and all the names associated with it. That's why you have to keep researching, connecting the pieces, connecting the dots, finding where they lead. because you will never stop this problem by stopping any one or two people that are involved in it. You have to stop them all. So, our first email here. The first thing that would pop into any sane person's head, why would you ask somebody if they were going to be around for dinner or pizza?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to
If
me.
it's going to be dinner, it's going to be, whether you eat pizza or anything else, it's going to be around the same time of day. But for the code that they're using, since pizza here probably means a girl of undescribed age, if you were going to commit vile actions on somebody, you couldn't do it in the light of day. Matter of fact, the people doing this would probably see it as revolting to do these things that they do during the daytime. They have to do them at night. Everybody's not paying attention when it's easier to hide things. So if you were asking somebody if they were going to be there for dinner, that's, say, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening on average, maybe 7 if you eat late. But if you're about to do something else that requires you to wait until the sun goes down, then you might have to be around a little longer. So this email right here, it sounds like they're asking whether or not this person is going to be around long enough to share dinner or around long enough to share something else. So this is our first email. This gives you just a little piece of understanding it, the way that they talk, the way that they think, the way that they just treat this like it's not a big deal. So let's move on to our next email, and we'll play this inference game again.
Yeah, this email is a bit more, gets into some real interesting stuff. Because who the two respondents of this email is Tony Podesta and a Luciferian known as Marina Abramock. I can't pronounce her name. It's Russian.
She's a high-level Luciferian that I'm assuming lives in the area of Russia.
Somewhere.
I don't know this person because despite looking into some of the tenets surrounding this faith, as one is supposed to do when you look for information, you find a lot of nastiness. So let's go ahead and start with the email because it's going to lead us to some things.
All right. Let's see. Dear Tony, I am so looking forward to the spirit cooking dinner at my place. Do you think you will be able to let me know if your brother John Podesta is coming? All my love, Marina.
Okay, so not a super weird email, minus that one term, right? If you're asking a friend if they're going to be there so that you can visit with one another, that's not really a big deal. But that term, spirit cooking, this might be the part of this discussion where if you have children in your house, you should either put your headphones in or tell them to go to the other room. Because I don't think they want to hear this from my mouth. They might want to hear it from yours because you can add the proper context to their level of understanding. But I don't think they're going to want to hear it from me.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the website I got this from, links will also be in the description. There is a video accompanied with this email for a little more context.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that weird little term that's in there, spirit cooking. So we watched the video. The video describes what they want you to do. It describes how it takes place. And the video, when you realize that the substance that they are painting these words and the walls and these idols in the corner and everything else that they're painting, that the substance that they are using is either completely blood or a blood mixture of some sort, because it's coagulating, and coagulating worse the longer it sits there, like blood that's exposed to air, whether that be human or animal blood.
From what it looks like, it does look like it's 100% blood.
So take that into a little context. Watch the video if you think you can stomach it. But I'm gonna give you the gist. I'm gonna tell you what this is about. So here's the process of spirit cooking. You get a hold of whatever it is you're planning to consume. And for these people, you're talking about a child. You're talking about whether it's a teenager or a full-blown little kid.
I've heard reports of kids as young as 2.
So Take that into context. That's the food they're talking about. So here's what's going to happen to this quote-unquote food. The day prior to this horrible thing that they have planned, they're going to force this person to drink a mixture of breast milk and semen. And then, through whichever means they use, whether it be drugs or otherwise, drugs, rape, torture, whichever method they use that works, they are going to put this being into a position where they are in severe pain and afraid for their life. And then, once they do that, they're going to pull out their ritual dagger, because all these people keep one somewhere. They're going to pull out their ritual dagger, and they're going to stab this person in the middle finger of the left hand. These are the actual instructions that they paint on the wall in what looks like blood. Now, to continue these instructions, after you've stabbed the finger and it's gushing blood, you are supposed to do what they call eating the pain. So let's play intelligent person here. You've just drawn blood on somebody, and the next instruction is to eat their pain. Where do you get it from? You have to drink their blood. That's what they're doing. Then, let's continue, because this isn't even all. After you've drank a sufficient amount of this person's blood filled with their fear and pain, you're supposed to spin around in a circle until you knock yourself out. Obviously, this is a bastardized form of dark ritual where they are doing this form of demonic-like feasting and then knocking themselves unconscious so they can then commune with other dark spirits that are drawn in by all this pain and all this blood. And as they lose consciousness, they're supposed to commune with all this. And then when they awaken, by the instructions, they're supposed to do what's called eating all the questions of the day. And the only questions...
You forgot throwing piss on the corpse.
Oh, that's right. I did miss a step.
You missed 2 steps.
Before you hurt them.
You're supposed to torture them to the point where they have nightmares, and the next day you throw your own piss on them.
The morning urine, your first piss of the morning. Yes, I did forget this step. I'm sorry, people. These horrid rituals are such bastardizations of real faith that at times it can be a little complex for even us to understand why they would do such a thing. However, I did miss that step, and I apologize. The next morning, first thing in the morning, before you kill them, before you feast on their body, you're supposed to piss on them. More disrespect. So, all these things together end with eating the questions of the day. Questions like, how do I get rid of this body? How do I get away with this? And eating the questions of the day means you're eating that body. So, you got this Russian Luciferian talking to John Podesta and his brother about coming to her house and doing these things to people and talking very jovially about it. Like this is a thing that they do once or twice a year for fun. This is their summer vacation.
Who knows how many times they do this?
Exactly. It could be once a week and we don't know.
It could be once a day for all we fucking know.
So, take that into some context right there. These people are talking about doing the worst of horrible things to someone simply to sustain themselves. I'm gonna do something that a lot of people that believe in a lot of or some of the same things I do will call me a traitor for, because it does kind of violate a rule of dark faith. You're not supposed to out the others around you because it could possibly expose everything. However, in this particular instance, I feel completely justified in telling you exactly what this is. These people are doing these rituals so that they can commune with demons. They're doing this because they believe it gives them spiritual power beyond what they have on their own. To consume the blood of somebody that's in pain and fear. You've heard the stories, you've seen it in the movies. This is the way demons feed. They feed on your fear. They feed on your rage. They feed on all those negative feelings.
Your agony.
They feed on all that stuff. But they've ascribed only this one type to it, which means they're being specific in what they're doing. And I'm going to tell you right now, the specifics of what they're doing is praying to their lusts. You can see it in their actions. They do nothing but satiate their own desires at the cost of everyone. They hold power they shouldn't hold, and the whole world knows they shouldn't hold it. They hold wealth more than probably a good 2/3 of the world. And they do this because they desire to do it. You can call it greed, that's one form, but it's still just a lustful desire for money. But they lust for more than that. Apparently, they lust to the point of needing to molest and murder little children and drink their blood and eat their flesh. That's pretty vile. That's a pretty low level of desire. We all have some nasty urges from time to time to do things, to say things that we know we shouldn't. But these people have functionalized the worst of themselves for years now. And they are doing it at the expense of our children's lives.
They've set up systems so they can make it easier on themselves. They've been indoctrinating us to this since at least the 90s, subtly in films and music and everything, in all honesty.
Yep. And they've been telling you half-truths so that you could never see what the exact truth was. Everybody knows they've heard a million stories about the Illuminati behind the scenes, or the child raping, or that all the powerful people were either involved or wanted to be involved, or that so many actors and musicians and all these things were involved and intentionally telling half-truths to people so that they wouldn't see the actual truth.
But don't you dare contest them, because if you go too far, they'll either kill you or slander you to the point where you can't say anything anymore. Look at the ones who have done this. Tila Tequila, to name one.
Jenna Jameson's doing it now. There's other stars throughout the years that have come out and said, look, there's some really fucked up shit going on behind the scenes, and as soon as that happens, they're either dead or they've been delegitimized to a point where nobody would ever listen to them. And then it's all bullshit. I was one of my favorite books, Darth Bane, The Rule of Two. The Sith do this exact same thing. They lie about their existence. They actually encounter a group of mercenaries and kill all but 2 of them, and let the 2 mercenaries go tell the Jedi they still exist. But because they can't be trusted, because they're just mercenaries feeding off the suffering of others and trying to get away with stuff, the Jedi don't believe them.
Which is what they're doing with conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
John Oliver did a piece about it, trying to say, using COVID as the main excuse, was there's a lot of misinformation going on, guys. They had a bunch of celebrities on. If you want to lead people on the right path, give them this information. It's fucking horseshit, ladies and gentlemen.
Your minds are being manipulated, people. You should know that by now. They've been trying to manipulate our minds for years. They've been trying to control our minds for longer than that. Whether it was direct slavery,
or indirect slavery like they're doing now, bribing you with trinkets and shiny things to distract you from the truth.
Yes, and constant news stories of one stupid thing or another to distract your mind, like Facebook does, like Twitter does, to keep your mind focused on something other than what they're doing right in front of your face.
And now they're perpetuating another race war. I am for equal opportunity. I am for this country is supposed to be for everybody to be equal.
No, this world is supposed to be for everybody. Period. The planet Earth is for every human being. Not one race of human beings, not one sex of human beings, not one class of human beings. It is for every human being that is born into it. And if you don't like and you don't appreciate all these people being born into the world, too bad. Because they're citizens of the world, just like you are. We all share the same human DNA that has been passed down from our ancient ancestors, generation after generation after generation. There is no one bloodline that is better than the rest. We all share common ancestry. But these people, they don't believe that. If you look into the rumors, these people, let's just go with the basics. Every American president has been distantly related. They're all in the same bloodline somehow.
There's a video on it on YouTube, so I encourage you to go take a look.
So if every president has been in the bloodline, that means almost every person they've ever asked you to vote for, that they've ever let run for president, was also in that bloodline. Yes, that means that Donald Trump is in the same bloodline as Obama, who he hates so badly, at least to the faces of the American people. He hates him so badly. But if they're related, then how does that make that much sense?
But it's just two wings of one bird. It's always been that way.
Yep.
You know, I'm not here to lambast Trump. I don't give a shit. You know,
if I wanted to lambast Trump, it would be for answers. As the President of the United States, he has been given privy to way more information than most of us will ever know.
You know.
And whether it's he doesn't say anything because he's part of it, or he doesn't say anything because he realizes that he'll be next.
I don't know. For whatever reason,
he keeps his mouth shut.
And it's not just him, it's a bunch of other people that have been named that aren't saying a goddamn word.
Yep. You want to get into some names, some associations? We'll do just one or two, because there's so many. You have to understand that with a network like this, in order to keep it quiet, you would need people at every level to change paperwork, to make sure news stories were buried, to make sure evidence was buried by the police department. Everything. And these people have manipulated this so that they have access to this every level, through bribes, through fucking threats, through whatever they have to do.
Blackmail.
Blackmail is the favorite technique. You'd say that there's so many people in Hollywood, there's so many musicians and all this involved. And that there's even rumors that float around all the time from famous people that if you're not involved in this, you have to want it. Because if you don't want it, if you don't want to be a part of what they have, then they get rid of you. So that means most of them are involved. I won't say all. There's always going to be exceptions. But that's most. Most are either involved or knowledgeable and say nothing.
And as Anita Hill would say, your silence is the same thing as participation. Of course, it's paraphrased, but it's still the same thing. You staying silent, not coming forward, is the same thing as doing the action, whether or not you did it.
So let's get into just a tiny association. We already talked about how these emails that we've been reading were from Podestas, whether it was John or Tony. And these Podestas are as directly linked to Hillary and Bill Clinton as you can possibly be. Bill Clinton, who has been, how many times was it? 40 sometimes he went out to Epstein's Island?
I think no.
And he was photographed smiling next to girls as young as 14 on airplane flights to this place.
I thought it was 26. It could be higher. I don't fucking know.
So he's been out there a ton of times. He's been photographed with the underage girls provided by Epstein, who we all already know that prior to his death was the leader of an underground sex ring.
And note, he's just one.
And that's just one. But if you say that Bill's gone out there and he's associated, and John, the lawyer, the assistant that works for them, is associated directly, then you pretty much have to assume that Hillary's not an idiot. I mean, Hillary may be a lot of things, but stupid doesn't appear to be one of them.
No.
She may pretend like she is from time to time, but that's just to hide something. She's not a fool. And so if everybody around her is involved in something, she's either involved or says and does nothing while she knows about it.
Well, Hillary was reported on the flight logs to be going to the island as well.
Yep. So you take that either way you want. She's either involved or she says and does nothing because she doesn't want it exposed. She wants it to continue even if she's not definitively directly involved. So now we're going to jump to another association through these emails. One email that was sent between Mr. Podesta and Maya Harris. Now, for those of you who don't know who Maya Harris is, Maya Harris is a correspondent for MSNBC. Maya Harris is also the sister of Kamala Harris, who I'm sure more people know than Maya.
Isn't she like the mayor of San Francisco or some shit?
And on top of this, she's also worked on Hillary's 2016 campaign, as well as she attempted to work on her sister's campaign for 2020 that didn't go so well. So involved in all these campaigns, also receiving and sending emails with these people and using the same codes they use. So, I mean, you can act like you don't want to see these things. You can act like you want to pretend that it's not there. But that doesn't mean it's not there. It's been there for decades that we know of. We heard stories for decades about Bohemian Grove and all these other fucking things that were being done where wealthy people were disappearing from the world into a special place where they did things that nobody but them knew about, but everybody kind of assumed weren't right. And then we heard all the stories of the kidnappings and all the stories of the pedophile ring, and one or two people get arrested or one or two people try to stop it, and then all of a sudden it just go quiet. And we just go back to life as it was. But it's 2020, people. We've done this long enough. I don't know what each and every one of you believe in. I'm sure there's a variety of different beliefs out there. But I'm gonna speak to each of you individually. We're gonna start with everybody that considers themselves a warrior of the light. Now, I'm not the expert on your book, but I do remember a certain statement about putting on the armor of God. And if you allow pedophiles to dominate your world as you sit and do nothing, your armor is rusted and useless. Your weapon is dull. You have no strength of your own. And the rest of you, the ones that actually do want to do something about it, I got some ideas. Some thoughts. I've been thinking about a new hashtag since the world loves to get hashtags trending. We already got hashtags about the pedophiles trending, but I think every hashtag that's trending should be about those people and dealing with it. Because if we keep that the narrative, we get more people to listen. And the more people that listen and decide, you know what, I'm fucking fed up with this and I'm not going to let my kids or their kids or anybody else's kids have to deal with this shit. All those people need to start doing what I call hashtag get 'em. It's a new thing that I believe we all should be involved in, where if you've heard rumors and you found a lot of evidence to say that, you know, that this person here might just be involved in this and not saying anything and hiding it, it's time to go after them. It's time to go after them on every level you have access to. If all you have is a computer, flood their pages, every platform you have, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Everywhere they're on, flood it. Because eventually, like some of them, they'll just delete everything and shut it down.
Some already have.
Exactly. Hashtag get 'em. Until these people own up at least long enough to give us the names. That's what I want most. More than anything else in this world. I want the names, the locations of everyone involved in this. Everyone that's been functionalizing it for all these years. Because once we, the people of the united world, have these names, we can finally put a stop to this.
We can enact justice.
We don't wait on the cops they paid off to do it for us. We don't wait on politicians that are already involved to make laws on our behalf. It's not going to happen, people. They're not going to take your side.
They never have and they never will. This is proof positive that these people are corrupt on every level.
So, hashtag fucking get 'em. Hashtag get 'em online. Hashtag get 'em offline. Every time you see them out in public, cuss them out for who they are. Make them feel like they can't even go out into public anymore. Treat them like the lepers that they ought to be treated like. Nothing but a disease walking around our planet, harming it.
Yep, we should put public shaming to good.
Yeah, we've done this for years. You jump online, you yell at people you don't like because they got a different opinion than you. I'm saying we all got different opinions, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the fact that everybody doesn't see life the same way I do. But I know you all see this. Whether you got the balls to stand up and do anything about it, I know you see this. And if you see it, and you know it, and you pretend like you live in the light, It is your responsibility to do something about this great evil before it destroys your entire world.
Because it is. These same people are the same ones making laws against you. Fucking taking your money, taking food out of your fucking refrigerator. Like, no. And now on top of it, they're fucking taking our kids and raping them? Fuck you.
Okay, so that's for the people that believe themselves in the light. Now, I'm going to talk to the rest of you. Now I'm going to talk to everybody who's lived in the dark and knows what it feels like. Who's had to endure pain and suffering their whole lives. Who's been left to die alone by the ones they were supposed to trust. Now I'm talking to you. I've been there. I am there now. I have been ground into the dirt so bad, I never got no $600 a week in unemployment. My job was allowed to fire me illegally just before the pandemic started and not only get away with it, but ensure that I didn't get a fucking dime. Plus, the way temp companies are, everybody that worked temp didn't get that money because they're considered independent contractors. And if they're not working, they can be unpaid and not collect unemployment. So I never saw your $600. I've been slowly rotting on a street side, broke, with almost nothing. And yet still here I am, telling you that this may be your last opportunity to stop these people before they completely take over everything. Before they make it so countries' laws say they are allowed to fuck little kids and get away with it. Before it's considered a disability, like if you have a fucking leg missing.
They already did it in Greece.
Yep. And surprisingly, right after they made that decision in Greece, Tom Hanks decided even during a pandemic, it's probably a good idea to move there. Strange. You got people in California now crossing out his name on his star on the Walk of Fame and writing pedophile over the top of it. You got people fucking running into the CNN headquarters screaming, "Save the children," and demanding answers. This is all great, but it's not going to be enough. I'm telling you right now, these things are great, but they are not enough. And they won't be enough if you let these people run and hide behind everybody they've bought off. If you let these people beat you again, it may be the last fight you ever lose. Because if they make it to where your children have no hope, what do you think they're going to do to the rest of us?
Exactly.
Who's next after they've secured their hold on being able to... Because if you can't prove they kidnapped them, and you can't prove they murdered them, and it's okay to fuck them, then they haven't done anything wrong that you can prove. And then they can get away with it forever. Is that what you want? You want misery to plague everyone's lives and thoughts forever? Do you want your children's children's children, if they still exist, to have to worry about this when you can stop it now?
We have the power. There are millions more of us than there are of them. Always have been. And this is their greatest fear, is that one day we will see them for what they are. Corrupt, lying pieces of shit.
Yep. They're all getting caught up in indictments that they're having sealed so that nobody can see what's truly going on. They're all starting to turn tail and run. They realize that we hear each other as a world, not as one nation, not as one people, but the entire fucking world is screaming out in pain about this. And we're screaming out to a point where almost everybody can feel it. Even if you want to deny it, even if you want to sit there and just watch what's on Netflix and try to forget, you can feel it. You know it's there. And that means you too can be held responsible for inaction. Because we really need to stop this. We need to put an end to it. There will never be a hope for a world that our children deserve to live in if we don't do something about it.
Yep, you may
not like every president throughout history. Hell, they may all be connected to this, I don't know. But when you talk about the history that we learned as Americans, which is all kinds of bastardized and half bullshit, but the one thing I remember was that there was a group of people, not the people at the top, because they were concerned with acquiring power for themselves, but the regular people, just your average farmers in America as it was back in the colonial days. All they wanted was a chance to live freely and for their kids to live freely without the constant threat of somebody else's oppression. Where we are nowadays, most of you are rolling over and allowing that same oppression that the people you supposedly lift up as idols fought against. That makes you a disgrace to them. And I don't really care what disgraces to humanity have to say or think. The opinions of these people don't matter to me. Because honestly, if you asked me personally, I'm sure everybody has a wish about this, and the majority of wish is just that it would stop. Just that it would end and these people would have to pay for what they've done. And I know a lot of you don't want to think about making them pay for it. A lot of you don't want to think about burning their houses down, destroying their property, destroying everything they treasure, and making them feel the same pain that they've made the world feel for so long. And that's why here today, on this episode, I'm volunteering. If the rest of you will help me find these people and acquire them, I will kill them all myself. You will watch me do it. And then after it's over and they're all gone, after this ring is completely melted down and destroyed so it can never be rebuilt again, and all these people have been wiped away, when the world finally has a chance to live without it, I understand if the world holds their deaths at my hand and punishes me for it. Because I will understand that. We need to live in a world where these things aren't okay anymore. We need to live in a world where there is a punishment for these kinds of crimes, where they can't just run legal loopholes in the court system and get away with everything anymore.
Yeah, because they got lawyers that do this all the damn time.
All they do is get away with their shit. And we the people don't have to stand for it. If justice in their system is blind, then we enact our own, because justice itself is not blind, only blind to color and sex. It sees everything, and it knows that they are wrong. But justice cannot be enacted as long as you leave it in chains. So it's up to us, we the people of the united world. No restrictions, no class types, all of us. Everybody that's not involved. It's up to all of us to stand up on every platform we have. Every way that I don't care if you walk down the street and you shake hands and you tell people this and get more people involved. I don't care if you get out on the street corner and protest it. I don't care if you're on Facebook and Twitter every day blowing up all these people's pages until they can't say anything except, I'm sorry, these are the people involved. Because that's what we want. I don't want to hurt them, even though I feel like it's going to have to take that before they answer our questions. I do want answers. I do want the names. And I do want to stop this once and for all. And if that means that myself and every other person in this world like me has to take up arms for ourselves and stop these people, and make it so that no more kids have to be kidnapped just to be raped and murdered by rich people, then I'm ready. My life it's just one life. Millions of lives have been ruined because of this. Millions more will be ruined if we don't stop it. So if the rest of the world has anything more than sand in their vajayjay and fucking balls the size of sweet peas, then I demand that you fuckers get up off your lazy asses and do something for once that matters. Stop putting yourself behind a race war. Stop putting yourself behind a class war. Put a stop to the evil in your world, the real, actual evil in your world.
These people have committed vile acts against humanity. All of humanity. They have polluted our world. They take our kids, for fuck's sakes. If that doesn't piss you off, I don't know what fucking will.
And if it don't, then just sit there on your ass and do nothing until the rest of us put a stop to this. But when we do, don't ask to come be rich or famous or powerful along with us, because if you ain't got the balls to stand up and fight for this, you don't need to be in the new world. You don't need to be in a world full of people that actually want change. And if you are out there and you hear this because somebody shared it, and you are famous, and you are somewhat backwardly involved in this, and you don't want to be, and you never wanted to be, but they tricked you into it, and now you can't get out, I demand you get up off your ass and say something. You were held up as an idol. Choose you to be a false idol until the day you die, or choose you to be an idol that actually had some small meaning. Because the people you are following, the ones you're listening to that convince you it's okay to do these things, they're lying to you. They're lying to you because it functionalizes the thing they want to do. And if you continue to let them, if you do not expose them, I will hold you guilty, and we all will hold you guilty for failing humanity when you were given a choice. Because once you've had your choice and you said no, there's no more choices. There's no more chances. There's no more forgiveness.
Yep, and as the names keep rolling out, if you stay silent, we're going to all assume that you are guilty.
Yep, and I don't care. I'm sorry. If it hurts, I'm sorry. It hurt all those little kids too. It hurt them all. You did it on purpose because you wanted to eat their pain. And you know what that makes me want to do? Eat yours! To be honest, right now, as I said, I'm volunteering. I'll kill you all myself. The whole world can watch, and I'll enjoy it more than any sane human being thinks I should. But you'll watch me enjoy it. And when it's over, your asses are going to go to hell. And when you get there, I have even worse for you. Because this doesn't end here. Oh, no. I'm going down there, and I know it. I've paid for that with my own actions, and nothing could change that. But you're going down there too. And I know you. You think you have some high position waiting for you when you get there, but you don't, because you've been lied to, just like you lied to everybody else. The one who's been lying to you, who imitated my Father's name, the one you've been worshiping and throwing all that blood all over, lust, he'll toss you aside just as casually as you've tossed every person that stopped being useful to you aside. That's where you learned how to act that way. Why would you expect any different? You're stupid. You have bastardized faith. You have bastardized what it means to be human. And I, and many like me, on both sides, will no longer rest until it's over. And if that makes you uncomfortable, if that makes you hate me, and you send your strong arms to try and stop me, I dare you. Send them after me. Kidnap me and take me to your little ritual site so you can try to make me afraid of you. See if I'll do anything but laugh in your face as you kill me. If you can manage to stomach it. Because I'm going to tell you as you do, that when I get to hell, I will be there waiting for you. And when you get there, you're never leaving again. There will be no rebirth. There will be no second chance. Your spark will become mine. And I will consume it into myself, where it will stay there forever and ever and ever. Because you deserve that for what you've done. And anything less than that is still less than you deserve. As for everybody else, I know you don't like this. I know you don't like this version of me. Hell, I don't like it very much. But sometimes it takes an even bigger asshole to silence the weak assholes. And I guarantee you that there is none of these people without their security guards and their guns and their knives and all their protection that could stand to me for 5 minutes. Because they think they know evil, but they haven't seen what it truly looks like yet. They have shown me their depraved lust. I will show them my hatred. Do you have anything else to add?
No. You completely lost me. Got me for a loss of words.
All right, then. So I guess there's tons more information. There's tons more we could say about this, but I don't think it needs to be. You could do the research your damn self. You can get up off your ass yourself. You don't need me to come over and smack you in the head to make that happen. Maybe this episode here is the smack in the head that some people need. And if so, I'm encouraging anybody who actually paid attention to this long enough to listen to it to the end. Share this video. I can guarantee you that this video will probably be taken off YouTube. I will probably be banned from Facebook because of it. And other things that I've been saying and posting.
Oh, that reminds me. I don't know if anybody saw their little test or whatever it was of the black labeling, but...
Oh, yeah. They're starting to separate the posts that they don't like on Facebook. They showed us a little glimpse of it just real fast for maybe a half an hour. And only so many people caught it because, we all have lives. Certain posts that all of a sudden were coming up with black bars over their like, comment, and share buttons. Not necessarily all the posts, not necessarily just all the posts of a certain people, but certain posts revolving around pedophiles, government corruption, basically anything they would have a problem with anybody else reading. And it's not just me, it was other people that happened while I was out walking around. I didn't even realize it until it was told to me that this was going on, and I'm sure a lot of the rest of you didn't realize it. But they're out there silencing you now because they want this to stop. They want it, once again, to go right back under the rug because we have a bunch of other issues. But fuck those other issues! If they want to stop the whole world, if they want to lock us all in their houses, and they want to tell people, you have no rental protection, you have no right to earn money, but we're going to go on paid vacation and say, fuck you. If you want to let those same people go away for 31 days to go murder some more children, is that what you want? You want to take them another break so that they can go do this shit again? Because they're all gone for 31 days. Who knows where they're going to go, what they're going to do, and who they're going to do it with. And if these people are involved in this shit, they're just going to look for more excuses to get away with what they've been doing. They're going to spend that whole time talking to each other about, what can we do to get away from this? What can we do to stop them from talking about this, from doing anything about it? Don't let it happen. Don't let them distract you no more. Not until your children's lives are safe again. Once they're safe, then we can go back to doing other things. Then we can talk about which party needs blown up, if not both of them. For lying to the American people, for betraying the American people. Worldwide, almost every government's involved in this. The royal family's involved. There's links to China in this, so that means it's all over the place. Everybody that pretends to hate each other, they're doing this shit behind your back. And they're lying to you about it. People of the world, stop being lied to. Stop believing the lies.
The whole world's a stage.
And all they're doing is playing us all. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. We don't like it, but it's time. It's fucking 2020.
Yeah, the previous words may have been harsh, but
they're true. I hate to feel like this, but I feel like this every day now. I can't play video games anymore. I can't relax because the thought of this going unpunished hurts me inside. Because every time I think about it, I can feel the pain and suffering of millions of children, some who were brutally cut open and fed upon like just random cattle.
The more research I do, the more it fucking hurts because there's names on there that I'd never even dreamed of being on there doing this shit. Yep. And I'm like, I can't.
There's always going to come a name up. And when you see it, you're going to say, I can't believe this. I can't believe that this person would be involved. I idolized them. They were my hero.
Stephen fucking Hawking has gone to fucking Epstein's Island. Like, I am flabbergasted. Like, what the actual fuck? Renowned astrophysicists have gone there. It goes so fucking
and
deep.
they're using Bill Nye to support this narrative.
That it's a
That it's just a natural part of life that you need to learn to accept.
It's a sexual orientation, as they say. Fuck you.
Yeah, they've been doing this shit for a while. Oh, this is part of LGBTQ+. This is part of the same. This is the same as 2 adult males sharing a consensual relationship or 2 adult females carrying a consensual relationship. They're talking about the molestation of children like it's a form of love. If that's not pure evil, then what is?
I don't fucking know.
And if you think that that's okay,
then
I hope you die in the same fire they do.
Fucking problem.
Or as my favorite song would express to you, I can't wait for you to die alone. Die alone. I will not stand by and let you ruin this world. Millions more will not stand by and let you ruin this world. We will see your heads on sticks before that happens. Because if the world's going to end anyway, we should at least stand for something before it does.
Yep.
And if you can't stand for the lives of children,
then what do you stand for?
Nothing, it seems. So, you hear this and it motivates you? Good. Share it. Get more people involved. Not in my name. In the names of children who have been killed and whose lives have been destroyed over this. In the names of your own children that you will not see drug into this madness. And in the names of children that aren't even born yet, that they might have a safe, peaceful world to live in when they're born.
And if this video pisses you off, still fucking share it.
Yeah, and if this video pisses you off because it sounds like I might be talking about you, stop being a fuck! I'm telling you now, this is your last chance. When you die and you transition into that fire, there will be no forgiveness waiting for you. Only more pain.
You know, they talk about this great awakening. Well, yeah, it's the age of Aquarius. We've been entering it. And these are growing pains. We're realizing now that the people that we loved, behold, trusted, fucking lied and betrayed us.
So if that makes you mad because you want to be like that, you're a piece of shit. And I don't care what you think. I dare you to stand in my face and justify the rape and murder of children, the holding down of an entire world to suit the needs of a few rich cocksuckers who think they're playing devil in the world. But I can guarantee you their evil is minuscule. If you need blood to support your own power, you have no power of your own. So, for the rest of you that don't deal in that shit, these are the people that were arguing over whether or not it's true, whether or not we should do anything about this. No, fuck that. End to end in this world. And there is no end because it's a globe. So that means the whole world, all the way around, every nation, every person, no matter where you are, stand up. If you got kids, I want you to turn and look at them for a second. Look at them. Don't look at them as the kid that's pissing you off because they've been in your face for the last several months. Remember the child that you treasured when they were born.
Remember the hope that you had for them, that they would
be something, that they would have a hope in life, that they would mean more than you were allowed to, and your parents were allowed to. Remember that you had that hope once, but it's been destroyed systematically for most of us by these people. It's time we showed them what that feels like. Because they don't understand anything but force. They own the politicians. They own the judges. They own the police.
They own the lawyers.
Trust that system to stop them. I hate to be this guy because there's not a whole lot of situations where I like to call for this much.
Somebody needs to be that guy.
No, not somebody. No, everybody. You know what we need right now? We need a world where the Batman and the Joker are working together to stop something. We need a world where our heroes and our villains have united in a common cause, putting a stop to the one thing they all know should not be. Because we can do it. Don't believe that it's just Marvel and DC where people have power. You might not have superpowers. But I've seen videos of motherfucking inventors inventing fucking ray guns in their garage. You take all these inventors and all these interesting things they've invented and all the people that are willing to do something about this and all the hackers that are tired of this shit, and you get them all working together and you destroy everything that these people have. Their bank accounts, their social media accounts, their homes, their property, their businesses, all of it. Until everything that they treasure is in the same pile of rubble that so many children's lives were put into. That's justice. Not punishing the whole world, punishing the ones responsible. Until they understand why what they have done was wrong. And until they can feel like they might be able to understand why they need help. They're sick. They're addicted to the sickest of behaviors. You think anybody who's ever been addicted to cigarettes, been addicted to alcohol, been addicted to anything, you know how hard it is when your chosen addiction isn't there. Now imagine if your chosen addiction was doing these things to children.
Well, not only that, but they have adrenochrome.
Well, that's what they're saying. Again, you can justify a thing any way you want to.
Oh, I'm just saying, it's more empirical evidence that they are doing some nasty-ass shit behind closed doors and expecting us to just eat this shit and like the taste.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to eat shit forever until the day I die just because these fuckers want me to. Again, I will be one of the many. I may be the only one in a fucking goat skull mask with a flaming machete, but I will be in that mass of people hunting for the heads of these criminals. Because I, even without kids of my own, do not agree with a world where every parent and every child needs to fear for their safety because of a ring of assholes who want nothing more than to harm people and get away with it. If it costs me my life in the fight, I'm okay with that. So long as we win. And that's why I said I'll volunteer. You bring them all to me. Kill them all right in front of you so they can make sure they're dead. And then when they're all dead and it's all this shit is burnt to the ground and can't ever be rebuilt again, you can take my head too for all the murders. And then your children might have a chance at a peaceful world. But until then, they don't. Their safety is at risk. Your safety too, just in different ways. They want your freedoms. They want what protects you.
They want control over every aspect
They
of
want
your
to
life.
turn you into nothing more than an animal, just another piece of property to be done with as they will. And I say to the rest of the world, that's not what you want to be. That's not what humanity was meant to be. And if you let it be that way, then you don't deserve to call yourself human anymore. You are a weak monster. Too weak to call yourself a real monster. And too weak to do anything. And I won't suffer your opinions. I don't care what you think. Because if you're that weak, fuck you. Go die in a hole somewhere. I don't need you in the new world. None of us do. Because then you'll just roll over and let it happen again. Even after they're all dead, somebody else will take it. Just like gangs. Somebody else will take the power and you'll just let them. You'll just let it start over. Under new management. I'm not going to do that. I won't let it happen. None of you should either. I've been Omen Cross. This has been Emma Cross. And this was today's very inciting, very angry, and very forceful episode of Crossin' and Waffles. It could be our last. We could be banned from everywhere, possibly even dealt with because of all this. I don't care anymore.
But fuck it. At least I was able to get my voice out there and my opinions on this matter.
If I end up disappearing, or if my car mysteriously explodes, or if any number of random things that they do to people and call it suicide happen, I'm telling you now, I will not rest until this is over. I was murdered because I do not want to stop until this ends. Until all their heads have been taken, and until this snake dies once and for all. So if you hear that I died, you know who's responsible. Add my name to the millions others. And then ask yourself, does it piss you off yet?
When will it be enough?
When will it take enough to get you up off your ass? When will it take you enough to care? And if it takes more than human beings are capable of, then just roll over and die. Give up. Because if you can't stand up for the children, then we'll never be able to deal with racism, sexism, because if you can't fight for the kids, the future, then there's nothing you're going to fight for. You won't be able to fight for the planet and sustainability. You won't be able to fight for the law changes that we need to make sure these kinds of things are never allowed again. You won't be able to handle the complete reset that we need in our governmental structure to remove all those old asshats who have been fucking ruining this for decades from those positions so that we can get some shit done. No matter what it's talking about, it's going to take strength. It's going to take courage. And it's going to take willpower. A willpower that can't just be broken every time somebody stands up to you and says, well, that's a conspiracy theory. You got a tinfoil hat.
Remember, the CIA coined conspiracy theory as a way to discredit critical thinkers. Mm-hmm. And now they're trying to do it again in media. So, fuck those people. Don't let them change you. Keep thinking.
This has been Omen and Emma. This has been Crossing and Waffles.
Thank you.
Whether or not you learned anything, I hope you at least paid attention, because this is our world we're talking about. Not just mine, not just yours. It's for everybody. And if this is one of those things, if we don't stop it, everybody continues to suffer. Thank you for listening, and good luck crossing the spaces between. They're getting quite lethal at the moment.